So he gave
Yeah,
this numerical plan to the FBI in 2017.
that's right.
The last number is 9, which stands for being manufactured in 9 months.
To blackmail the entire world.
Which is what happened.
But in that conference, he gave enough warning to the American people. He said, darkness is coming, and it's from the kleptocrats of the Chinese Communist Party. You need to be prepared. What's coming?
Last week in New York City, something very interesting happened. A Chinese man who's actually in hiding from the Chinese Communist Party, hiding out in the United States. He was raided by what media is reporting as more than 100 FBI agents raided his apartment in New York City. While they were raiding him, a fire breaks out in his apartment.
Check out this video. Literally, while FBI agents are inside, the local news reports say a fire broke out. Cut 1.
But just 6 hours earlier, federal agents took Guo Wenji into custody at the luxury residence. It was those very same agents who later reported the fire.
This man founded an organization that's pro-freedom, calls themselves the #1 enemy of the Chinese Communist Party. Later in court, federal prosecutors admit to working closely with China to take this man down. Some are questioning now whether this theory of global elites working together against freedom-loving citizens around the world, is this an example of that? Well, a lot of questions. We always have questions about the FBI. Here to join me is Ava Chen. You are a big supporter of this man. Let me just show you the New York Times article. Guo Wengui, am I saying his name right?
Yeah, you said almost perfect.
But what's his other name is Miles Guo. That's what you call him, right? So this man, exiled Chinese billionaire, charged in New York with financial conspiracy. This is the allegations the FBI is bringing is that he defrauded investors. You're one of those investors, correct?
Yes, me and my family.
Yet you still support this man. Why would you support someone who defrauded you?
So that's an allegation laid out by DOJ, and online, I think that press release publicized by the DOJ, I think was on March 15th, 2023 at around 9:57-ish in the morning. So every single charges laid against Miles Guo were false.
A quick shout out to the sponsor of my coverage. Bad sleep is an epidemic in America with habits like long work hours as well as caffeine and stress. It's no wonder why an estimated 164 million Americans toss and turn at night. In one study of over 4,000 adults, 27% reported that they had trouble falling asleep or staying asleep most nights. Poor sleep may be one of the most ignored and urgent issues of our time. Here's a product that I've been using to improve my sleep. Loving this product and how natural it is with 7 essential vitamins and minerals recommended by industry health professionals in every serving. This amazing pill is a great tasting alternative to taking a handful of supplements every day. Since starting it, you're going to be feeling great when you wake up, energized and clear-headed. Keeping your days super productive, this thing will help. So overall, I've been happier and feeling less fatigued. Get your bottle 51% off and reclaim your good night's sleep if you order today. You'll also receive several free bonuses before their half-off sale ends. Go to ivorysleeps.com. That's ivorysleeps.com, or simply click that more button below this video, then click the link in description.
Every single charges laid against Miles Guo were false. So particularly, this makes me very angry, and I'm not the only one. I can actually later on share with you a video right now. It's actually viral on Twitter because 3 days after the indictment that published by DOJ, 160 of us gathered in front of Miles Guo's residence in New York. At the Sharon Netherland Hotel, which the plaza, it's called Grand Army Plaza. In front of the hotel, we gather and protesting on behalf of Miles Guo, and we demand immediate release of Miles Guo because it's very absurd. The indictment mentioned about he has defrauded $1 billion from all those investors. But the truth is, our money is not with Miles Guo. Our money is with SEC. SEC has seized our funds, about $500 million US dollars, actually in 2021. Okay. And then in 2021, on their website, they issued a notice that they will establish something called Fair Fund to return to us the money that they seized. But as of today, only less than 1/10 of the money was returned to all those investors. But the question is, why they do this, why they lay out the false charges. Here, what you just mentioned, Ivory, at the beginning, you mentioned about Miles Guo hiding in USA. I wanted just to kind of maybe that word's something I would not use, hiding, because Miles Guo fled to China at the end of 2014. That's absolutely accurate. And then he arrived in the United States in 2015, and then he started openly whistleblowing and revealing those corruptions and those nefarious war plans that the CCP has planning against the free world, against the United States in 2017 January. So on January 26th, he started his very first public online revealing of the corruption of the Chinese Communist Party. And since then, he has been the target of this totalitarian evil regime nonstop. So he is not hiding. He's made himself very openly the enemy of this totalitarian regime because of the secrets that he possesses about the top CCP kleptocrats and their plans against the world, against the people. He is the most feared enemy of the Chinese Communist Party. And this has been proven the case since the 2017. Okay, as we going on, and I will introduce a little bit of the historical things that happened to him, and the efforts has been, the CCP has been resorted to in order to remove him from the United States is unbelievable. So I will wait for your question, and I will just stop here.
Well, I want to show what he founded. One of the things he found is the new federal state of China.
Yes.
The website says, "Build a future of freedom and love for the Chinese people. We are the number one enemy of the CCP." It says here you guys have 300 million social media followers. This is one of the things you invested in, correct? As an investor?
No, we invested in what's on the indictment by DOJ mentioned about alternative media called GTV Media. So GTV actually shut down because of the SEC's investigation and the cease and desist order they issued in 2021. The reason why Miles Guo started the whistleblower movement, as I mentioned, back in 2017, and then this movement, gathered a lot of steams and way. The followers has been increased exponentially thanks to 2017. And then in 2020, June 4th, that's where the new federal state of China was established. It was announced by Miles Guo and Stephen Bannon in the harbor of New York on that day. So at that time, because we're telling the truth, because Miles Guo has been telling the truth from the beginning. So he has been targeted, and he's the most censored individual on social media. And even today, his Twitter account still banned. And take us back to 2017. Once he started his whistleblowing on social media, Facebook, Twitter has immediately suspended his account. So he has not been able to use Facebook for very early on, April 2017. And he has not been able to use Twitter since 2018, if I remember correctly. So that's why he wanted to create an alternative media. That's where we can actually share the truth and waking up the deplorables, the 1.4 billion slaves back in China, because it's a Chinese language centered social media news site. Okay, so that's called GTV. So he advised. So
that's what you and everyone invested, apparently.
5,500 of us. Yes, 5,500 of us invested all total about 500 million.
And it was successful. And it was successfully launched.
Absolutely,
and people were consuming news and information there.
Absolutely,
right? Until The American Securities and Exchange Commission shut it down?
That's right. So how did that go? I want to just describe what happened. So we know, because our message to the United States is CCP is very good at infiltrate. They can encroach a system, a perfect system, gradually, slowly, and then they can take over. Okay, so that's how they experience that, because they've done this many times, and they also infiltrated in our movement. Okay, because our movement is very open. Everyone can declare, say, I want to take down the CCP, and you can join. And it's just volunteer-based organization, nothing more than that. So we have been infiltrated by the CCP spies, and those spies, pretending to be the investors, and reported the complaint, a falsified complaint to SEC. Okay, and so far we came to know about 11 of them, that none of them actually invested any money into SEC, but they used a fake statement documents to file a fake complaint, which the SEC used as a base, as a foundation to lay the charges against the GTV. And now they're trying to pin it on Miles Guo, which the number one enemy, the top dissident of the communist China. Okay.
So do you think the United States and China are working together to hide information
Absolutely.
from the citizens of both of our nations?
Absolutely.
And so what's the key information that they're working so hard to hide? What was it that Miles Guo was putting out? What was the post that got him banned from Facebook? What's this information we need to know?
He's banned because he's telling the truth and the crime about those CCP kleptocrats, what they plan to do to America. So actually in 2017, October 5th, after actually October 4th, he was scheduled to deliver a speech at the Hudson Institute about the threat that the CCP kleptocrats pose to the free world. He was supposed to, but on October 3rd, 2017, he received a notification from the Hudson Institute to cancel this event. Okay, that was just a day before that scheduled speech. So what he did is he held a press conference on October 5th, and he warned the world that the darkness is coming. And
what year was this again?
2017. That's 6
Wow.
years ago almost.
Wow.
Okay, and what he was referring to, that was a nefarious war plan that drawn out by the CCP. It's called 13579. So 1 stands for creating a one weapon. 3 stands for released it within 3 years since the 2017. 5 stands for making it last for 5 years. And 7 stands for destroy 7 countries, including the 5 Eyes, plus India, and Japan. 9 stands for create a vaccine within 9 months to blackmail the world.
Wait,
Okay,
he was saying this in 2017?
He didn't disclose. He actually gave the original documents of the 1379 to FBA to authenticate. And FBA actually authenticated and did nothing. Okay. FBI authenticate.
So he gave
Yeah,
this numerical plan to the FBI in 2017.
that's right.
The last number is 9, which stands for vaccine manufactured in 9 months.
To blackmail the entire world.
Which is what happened.
So that's exactly happened as what the plan said. And he provided to FBI, which FBI authenticated in 2017. That's lead his press conference in 2017, October 5th. He was very, very disappointed at your system. So he actually burned the only original copy of the 1373579, because that plan, by a revelation of that plan, he put enormous risk on his life and his family's life. So he burned it in that press conference, and because FBI did nothing. But in that conference, he gave enough warning to the American people. He said, darkness is coming, and it's from the kleptocrats of the Chinese Communist Party. You need to be prepared what's coming. Okay, and the damage that's going to cause is going to be 100 or even 1,000 times worse than those damages that caused in 9/11. He said that in the conference, and this is a still YouTube video. If you go search it, you will still be able to see that press conference he did on October 5th, 2017 at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C. But in that press club, he actually mentioned two other plans. He specifically mentioned two other nefarious plans. We call the unrestricted warfare plans that orchestrated and planned, developed by the Chinese Communist Party. One of them called a 3Fs plan. Okay, it's a code name, stands for 3F, stands for foment weakness, foment chaos, foment destruction of the United States.
Wow. Okay, so he was dropping intel
Yes,
years before our whole world got tipped upside down.
that's right. And then your government agencies has done nothing. Until Trump was in the office, when Miles shared the tips about human-to-human transmission of the Wuhan, the CCP virus, Trump listened and enacted the travel ban on January 31st, 2020.
Because Mr. Gould is good friends with Steve Bannon, the former White House chief strategist. So he had, good access to Trump then to tell Bannon. Bannon can tell Trump. In fact, the media reports are that when Bannon was arrested in 2020, he was actually on Gould's yacht. That's where he got arrested. So
that's right.
So, and I was just talking today about the fact that, Americans are all in a tizzy about distancing ourselves from China economically and otherwise. And this is something that Trump had been trying for throughout his presidency. That's why there was a trade war. Was part of that due to intel that he was getting from Gould? I wonder.
Yeah. So in the book, Peter Navarro has mentioned the reason why the Chinese government released the weapon back in 2019 has two folds. The purpose was twofold. One of them is to, cracking down on the pro-democracy movement in Hong Kong, okay, at that time. And then the other one is derailing the presidential election of Trump. Okay, so that was a two purpose depicted in Navarro's book, In Trump Time. Okay, but the thing I wanted to share with you is in Trump administration, because a lot of people wanted to think this bipartisan, but what I'm thinking, this is not bipartisan. This is a fight with the freedom. People love freedom, and the people wanted to have communism take over in the United States and the free world. There's only these two camps. It's not about your left or right. It's not about your Republican or Democrats. The reason why I say that is because in 2017, very early on, after just the 2 months, Mr. Gould started his online revelation, which we call the whistleblower movement. The Chinese Communist Party immediately started their witch hunt for Miles Gould. One of the thing recorded by the U.S. government is one of the report that the U.S.-China Economic and Security Review Committee submitted a report to Congress in November that year, and detailing the global information influence campaign that orchestrated by the CCP, that hunting and calling Miles Gould as a criminal suspect. Okay, so that was detailed, and I suggest people to go and download that report. That was in 2017 report to Congress from the U.S.-China Security and Economic Committee. But however, the second thing that started in March that year, 2017, is the Chinese government, the CCP, has actively seeking the lobbyists and those agents in the United States to repatriate Miles Gould. And they find high influential White House insiders. Okay. And these people's name, I'm not sure whether you're familiar with them or not, Ivory. Have you heard about Elliot Brody?
No.
Have you heard about Stephen Wing?
It may sound familiar. Who are these?
Okay. These two, one of them, Steve, basically he owns casino, right? Casino magnate, super rich people. And he actually has 3 casinos in Macau, China. Okay. And he at that time was the finance chair of the Republican National Committee, basically fundraising chair for Trump. Okay. So he has the direct pass to President Trump. And then Elliot Brody is also a very influential business person who is also the deputy finance committee of the RNC at that time. Okay. So they basically was helping the CCP.
That's right. She's breaking down how the Chinese Communist Party infiltrated the Republican National Committee in the United States during the Trump presidency in order to get to Guo, in order to get to Trump. This is the sort of information that she's about to dive deep on that YouTube deletes people for. So I have chosen to upload the full uncensored interview on my Unified channel. Unified is the new Netflix of truth seeking. Click the link down in my description for Unified. Support independent journalism there and get full access to what's really going on. Watch the full interview on unified.tv.